beyond survival. Wow, that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. All right. So, you see, many times, I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, drop an emoji, a like. If you can't talk, if you can talk, please feel free to say something. I would like to know that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so beyond survival, this subject takes me to the story of some of the things we see in wildlife, natural world, where you see maybe a lioness running after a zebra. And then suddenly the lioness is able to catch up with the zebra, and that becomes the meal for the night for herself and her family. You see, most times financially, this is what life looks like for many people, such that, okay, you go out hunting every time, you must do certain things, and yet it is still the same story of moving paycheck to paycheck. So, but here's the question: what if it is possible to move from that paycheck to paycheck? I would, Godwin, please can you mute yourself? All right, sorry. So what if life could be beyond that? It could be beyond a survival of the fittest. It could be beyond just every month, month in, month out, we are able to make that money such that it's not about you having to go to work every day before you can do certain things. That's what this class is about. In this class, I'm going to show you 5 combinations that must be at work in your life if you must move from survival to financial success. I'm also going to show you the stages of human wealth progression. I'm also going to show you the stages of human wealth progression. We'll be talking about those things. And the way these 5 combinations work is such that one combination, each combination is dependent on the other. If you want to achieve financial success, you want to smile when it comes to your finances, you must be able to go through these combinations. You must be able to access them and to use them to your own advantage. Okay, so, but the first question I'll be asking this evening is, how is your finances? How do you feel about your finances? So what I need you to do this evening, first off, is to get the writing materials, a notepad, and I want you to write how you feel about your finances. Do you feel excited about it? Do you feel optimistic? Do you feel pessimistic about your finances? Do you feel hopeful? Or you feel like giving up? Many people have walked the path of being on a job for 10, 17, 20 years, and then it looks like there is no end in sight, breathing all through, day in and day out. Looks like there's no end in sight. Looks like this is the end of the world. This is how it's going to work. And then maybe you've spoken with some people, and then they said, this is how the thing works. Nobody gets free. But guys, people get free. So I want you to write down the emotions you feel. Why am I talking about the emotions? I'm talking about the emotions you feel because emotions, when it comes to our finances, emotions are reflections of our status or our confusion, because some of us actually feel confused about our finances. I feel that, what if I could take another step beyond this? But it looks like it is not possible. I've been doing this day in and day out, but there's something still missing. Okay, so write down, how do you feel about your finances? Write it down. And here's the second question: what are you doing about it? What are you doing about your finances? So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that people are doing. Maybe you could find yourself in the midst of this. What are you doing? The first thing people do about it is nothing. Well, this is how here's how it works, and this is how it's gonna be. So people don't do anything about it. They know they are living paycheck to paycheck. They know this is not the way to go about it, but they do nothing about it. But I want to tell you this: you actually have the capacity to turn the tables for yourself. Another thing people do about it is to be hopeful that one day it's going to be better. One day, and one day turn to 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And yet, people are still hopeful. Like someone says, hope is not a strategy. That's what one of my mentors said. That hope is not a strategy. So it's not about hoping. The next thing people do is to work hard. And I often say this: you cannot hard work your way to financial success. If hard work was it, that guy on the streets that is mixing cement, carrying it on his head, would actually have been wealthier than that guy that is not working as hard, than that trader. So it's not about hard work. So hard work is an element, but hard work is not the element of financial success. What about praying? Some people have relied so much on praying and saying, okay, we're just going to pray about this financial thing. And you've done that for 20 years, you've done that for 15 years, 5 years. But it looks like prayer is not adding up. But this is it. Prayer is a part of the equation. Hard work is a part of the equation, but it's not all that is required. And I'm going to show you those 5 things that are required today. Because I know that every one of us has the capacity to deliver. Because the Bible says that you can do much, that whatever man imagines, man can make to happen. And the Bible also says that whenever you ask, you can receive. This is for those that are Christians here. Sometimes people also assume that one day the tables will turn. One day they'll get the promotion. I was talking to someone, couple of, sometimes this year, and then she talked about her dad, that her dad has been receiving a salary of 85,000 naira since she knew about that, and that's talking about 10 years. And it's not that like his house is so close to that workplace. So many people assume that one day it's going to be better. But interestingly or funny, it doesn't happen like that. What if you could move away from that assumption today? What if you could move away from these assumptions that, okay, praying, working hard is going to solve the problem? That's what we are here to do. Sometimes some people expect a miracle. Say one day, I'm just going to slam it. That's why some people, these days, many young people are going for the lottery, not understanding that for you to win big in lottery, you're competing with, it's just like 1 in a million chances for you to win it big. The effort that most people put into those things, if they have put it into certain things that we're going to talk about here, they are going to have a new reality. They are going to create a new reality. This expecting a miracle takes me to one story that one of my friends shared. They went to a church, and then when they got to the church, it was a prayer meeting and everybody was praying actively. And then suddenly the pastor stopped them from praying and said, I see something, I see something, I see something. And everybody was gazing on the pastor, willing to hear what the pastor was going to say. And then I see something. What the pastor eventually said was that he saw a truck, and then the truck was going, and then there were thieves in the truck. And as they were going, they threw down a bag of money. And I'm like, has it really come to this? Because people desire that money is going to land on their lap. But the truth is, you can do more than this. You have the capacity to deliver more than this. And I'm going to show you those 5 steps that would help you to do that. And finally, some people avoid the financial conversations. I don't just want to talk about it because anytime I talk about it, it makes me feel bad. Guys, the fact that you feel bad about talking about your finances is not a reason not to talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more you talk about it, and talking about it with the right people, the closer you could be towards a solution. And that's why we're here this evening. And that was why the first question I asked is, how do you feel about your finances? And the first conversation you should have is a conversation with yourself. Some people have gotten to the place in which they blank out and they are not really thinking about their finances. Avoiding the conversation totally, because you can converse with yourself, you can converse with your God, you can converse with other people that can help you in that situation. So, what are you doing about it? And great that many people have started talking to coaches about their finances. The truth is, it takes away the burden. I mean, that burden that feels like this is going to be impossible. And I want you to know that it is possible for you to make a shift from where you are at to where you are headed. Okay? So, having gone through all this, so what's the missing piece? If I said that praying is part of it, if I said that hard work is part of it, then what piece or pieces are missing in your financial journey? Before I go to talking about the piece or pieces that are missing in your financial journey, I want to ask you a question. Would you like to be successful financially overnight? To be an overnight success in your finances? And the question is it possible? Because if we're talking about the fact that, oh, lottery is 1 in a million, am I talking about a Ponzi? Hell no, that's not what I'm talking about. Do you want to be wealthy overnight? Let me show you what some people say about it and how some people became successful overnight. Here's the first quote by James Cooper Clark. He said something. He said, "It took me 30 years for people to consider me an overnight success." The truth is, financial success is a journey and a combination of different parts. So if you must get or achieve financial success, it is a journey. For some people, it takes them 30 years. Now, talking about 30 years, recently there was this protest by Sowore and some police, with Sowore and some retirees in the police. And do you know, some of the things that these people were saying was that, well, after working for 30 years and the government made me 2 million. The truth is, backtrack to 30 years ago. That 2 million looked like that was the biggest. I mean, that was the biggest breakthrough. I will get 2 million, looked like it really mattered. In another 30 years,
Finish
in
the
another
movie.
30 years, sorry,
You enjoy it.
please, I think you should mute. Anybody coming into the session should first of all mute themselves, please.
Didn't finish it, your mind.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm even looking for my screen. All right. Okay, I was talking about if you want to be financially successful overnight. And here I can't find my screen again. Okay. All right. So if you want to be financially successful overnight, this is someone telling you that it took him 30 years before he was confirmed or before he was declared as an overnight success in his finances. 30 years. And that's because it takes time. So I was talking about those police and the protest. 2 million naira 30 years ago looked like it mattered. In fact, when they heard it at that time, they would be excited. But financial success is not retirement or getting a retirement benefit. Okay, I'm going to show you what that success level looks like and the other levels you have in your finances. So here's another quote. Says the good life is a process, not a state of being. It is a direction, not a destination. If it is a process, then could you be in that process and you're not aware of it? If it's a direction, could you be in that direction, in the right direction, and not be aware of it? Could you also be in the wrong direction and still not be aware of it? There's no way in which you think you're going to the US and then actually you're facing somewhere else. You're not going to get to the right direction unless you change the direction. But the good life you're looking for is a process and not a state of being. So what's a process? Okay. A process is a series of actions or steps that interact to achieve a particular outcome or result. Series of actions. I'm going to show you 5 actions that everyone that has become financially successful has to engage before they can get there. Okay, so there are a series of action or steps that interact. That means also that this process or that these actions are not independent of each other. I've seen some people say, okay, this is the part, this is what I'm comfortable with. And achieving financial success is not about what you're comfortable with. It's about doing what it takes. Achieving financial success is about doing what it takes and not about what you're comfortable with. Why? Because comfort is the enemy of great. You want to achieve financial success, comfort is your enemy. So those who are in their 20s, their 30s, well, this is going to be great for you. And the reason is that it is easier for you, especially in your 20s, to achieve financial success than somebody who is starting at 40. But that does not mean that the journey is over for people in that age group. People in their 40s, people in their 50s, people in their 60s. But as you go, the higher you go, or the older you go, the more difficult it is for you. But you can still change your story. And I believe that you can. I believe that this is something you can. There is nobody on earth that wants financial success that sits in the place of comfort. Sometimes the little comfort we talk about, oh, okay, I need this, this money, the money is sitting in your bank account. You just look for something to do with it. You need a level of discomfort. Comfort is your enemy if you are just building wealth. You cannot hold the two at the same time. Say, well, I'm holding comfort and I'm holding wealth building. You can't hold them together. One has to suffer. Okay? So, but let's go through these 5 steps, these 5 actions. So, I'm going to be talking about these 5 combined actions that you must take in your finances. 5 combined actions. Okay? So, the truth is, you might start. Antonio Sigwe, can you please mute yourself? All right. So, okay, Anthony, please mute yourself. I don't want to be going in and out of conversations, please. All right. So what are the 5 combined actions that you should take about concerning your finances? The first action is the action of faith. The action of faith. When I talk about faith, I am talking about your source. I was still listening to a webinar today, and then the the speaker in that event said something. It says, everything starts with faith. Everything starts with faith. For instance, if you're a business person in this part of the world, especially, you know that without faith, you cannot do the business because you have tons and tons of things, tons and tons of policies, tons and tons of elements that are to your disadvantage. But the financial work also is a work of faith, and you must start from that place. Talking about faith, you should understand, number one, that your source is not your job. And I want you to listen to me carefully, because many people tend to stay on a line of job thinking that, or a line of business thinking that that's going to build wealth for them, because not every business can give you wealth. Not every. Especially when you play it in a certain way. It's just like someone today who says, oh, I want to make a lot of money, and is using typewriter. Not every business. Or someone that is a clerk and says, oh, in 10, 15 years, I'm going to be very wealthy. When there is AI today, the action of faith. Faith is understanding, faith in finances is understanding that your job, your business is not your source. As a believer, one thing the Bible says is this, is that all things, that all things come from God. It says, for from you are all things. Sometimes we believe that, oh, our marital decisions should be inched to God. Business decisions, our marital decisions should be inched to God. Our health, we talk to God about it. But many times people leave the faith out, understanding that God is your source and not your work. I've heard people say things like, I've spoken to a driver who says, oh, this is the only thing I know to do all through my life. And this is just, and then when they lose their job, they're like, no, I'm looking for a driver's job. You should understand that a job, a business is not your source. Am I saying you should opt from one career to the other? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should understand the basic factor that even if a career field or a field fails you, if a business fails you, that is not your source. And it takes faith, because the Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of what you have not seen. If you're going to be wealthy, if you're going to build your own wealth, then one thing you must also do is to believe that you will get it, that you will get wealthy. Doubt is that intercepts your thoughts. If doubt intercepts your thoughts and your belief more often, such that your doubt is greater than your faith, you will not get it. The first is the action of faith. The second is the action of earning. Action of earning. So, for you to build wealth, you must earn. There are no two ways about it. You must earn. I've heard people say that, okay, someone was talking to me and said, oh, there is this guy, he is doing nothing, okay? And then he says that his brother in the UK was going to send him some money. And then when the brother sent him that money, he wanted to buy crypto and hold the crypto. Guy, you are not earning, because work is a part of the equation to financial success. All those things are part. And then work, it is when you work. Even the Bible says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 12 says that, let him that does not work not eat. And I'll be talking to Ross here also because there are people around us that are not working. And I'm saying that work is a fundamental part, because when you go through work to earn, when you go through the when you go through engaging active income, okay, something begin to shift in your life. You will begin to understand the value of money. If you give money to someone that didn't work for it, and you give money to someone that has worked, quote and unquote, worked for it, who have exchanged his sweat and his time for money, if you give money to those two parties, they will deal differently. And that's because this other guy that has worked to earn money understands that money did not even fall into your lap for him to be able to use it. He will use it judiciously. Because what work does is that it shapens our mentality. It shapens our approach to life. It causes us to value the money that comes to us. So that's why hard work is a fundamental part, and it lies in the action of earning. So go through a process, work to earn, because there are two different ways by which you can earn. You can earn through active income, that's working, exchanging your sweat and time for money. You can also earn passively, that's using the money you have earned, investing that money, and then getting returns that can pay your bills. You can earn passively. The action of earning. So the first is the action of faith. Engage faith. Talk to God about your finances. The second one is work. Earn passively. That is the action of earning. The third one is the action of savings. The action of savings. I say something often. I say, in every income, there is a seed. And in that seed, in every income, there is a seed. And that seed is meant to set you financially free. In every income, there is a seed. And that seed is meant to set you financially free. So here's what people don't do. Anytime most people get a raise, they inflate their lifestyle. They feel, oh, okay, the things I could not afford, I should be able to afford them. But this is it. If you cannot save on a 100,000 naira salary, you will not be able to save on a 1 million naira salary. And I have proofs. I have people around me that have gone through this, that have proven that this is truth. I have seen people that when they earned less, they invested. Now that they earn more, they don't invest. They don't even save. And why is savings featuring in this and not even investing? Number one, the first kind of savings everyone here should have, if you want to grow wealth, is emergency savings. You see, I've seen people who just put their money in investment, and then when they now have emergency, they go ahead and liquidate it. Emergency savings is 3 to 6 months of your living expense. And what we do for people when they go through our inner circle is, first off, you begin to build your emergency savings. Okay, so that's the first type of savings. The second type of savings is target savings. Most in this part of the world, we pay for rent over 1 year. Okay, all right. So, and if that's the case, what should you do? You should save up for it. Okay, you should save up for it. So target savings for your children's school fees. You earn monthly, and then you have to pay certain monies quarterly, annually, savings. The third kind of savings I should have is savings for generating capital for investing. All right. There are sometimes, let's say you have 2,000 naira and you know you cannot go and buy this this asset with it. What should you do with it? Save. Don't get to that place in which whenever you need money, and I'm talking especially to those people who have lived inflated lifestyle. Don't get to that place in which whenever you need money, you are having to think, reason it. You can always save your rent every month. Okay? So the action of savings, you have to save. The fourth action is the action of investing. All right? So investing is the growth engine. Investing is the growth engine for your finances. Investing is the growth engine for your finances. All right? If you want to achieve financial success, you cannot do that without investing. So some people will say, oh, well, some people do so well without necessarily investing. Yeah, you can see people live the life, quote and unquote, that looks like the life of their dream. But what's going to happen if they suddenly lose that job? If you suddenly lose that job and there is nothing to fall back to, you are not financially successful. The action of investing. Investing came from the Latin word investor, which means to clothe. Whenever you lose your source of income, you should not be naked. That's what investing does for you. Right? That's what investing does for you. Of course, there are different types of investing. There's the capital gain investing, investing so that the value of your money will go up. Meaning that you can buy an asset. Let's say you buy a real estate today, 50 million naira, and then another 5-10 years, it's now worth 70 million naira. That's capital gain. So your capital has increased. Most times when you invest for capital gains, your capital can also fluctuate. So let's say you bought a stock and you bought a stock for 1.5 million naira. And then months down the line, you see that your money is now 1.21 million and all that. So that's also a type of investing that's for capital gains, so that your capital will gain money, but you can also lose money on those assets. Some people say the reason I am not doing any stock investing is because I have lost money from it. That's part of the game. You only don't know how to play the game. And that's why the final action I'm going to talk about is the most important. Also, when it comes to investing, you have the cash flow investing. You can invest so that you can have cash. And in that case, you can even compound the money you made. I was talking to someone recently, and then he actually set a goal of 50 million naira for 2025. And then he was like, oh, I want to up it to 100 million. I said, when you get there, I'll show you how to 10x that money. And we're not talking of high risk or capital gains. We're talking about cash flow assets. Yeah. All right. So the last one, the last action you need to take, and this action, most people do not understand it or do not take this action. Well, sometimes they are constrained, and sometimes people apply it wrongly. It's the action. Sorry, why is my screen not? Okay, sorry. It's the action of leverage. Leverage is the fuel for your financial growth. Leverage is the fuel for your financial growth. So what's leverage? And I'm going to explain this in simple terms. Leverage is the ability to depend on other people, other people's money, other resources for your financial growth. Okay, it's the ability to depend on other resources for your financial growth. So, and there are different types of leverage. There is a people leverage. That guy that has a big business and have people working for him is leveraging people. There's a financial leverage. The financial leverage is meant to help you grow your wealth. But this is what most people in the middle class do. They will use the financial leverage, which is debt, and use it to buy a car, use it to take a loan for an apartment. Okay, use it to stock up the apartment. All right. Oh, I have run out of food supply, and then they are borrowing, going to a loan app, using that leverage wrongly. I don't in any way endorse loan app. I mean, it's a funny thing. So we're saying that the action of leverage, if you must build wealth, and like I said, it is the fuel for your financial growth, you must be able to take advantage of debt. You must be able to work with other people. The more people working for you, the bigger your wealth in some cases, in most cases, sorry. You also have the knowledge leverage. Now, I've talked about investing, I've talked about savings and all that. But if you don't have the right knowledge, you will not be able to maximize those resources. So you must seek knowledge. You must seek knowledge, knowledge leverage. You must seek financial knowledge. So here's my question for you. How much are you willing to invest in your own education? Because most people don't invest in their financial education. They feel, oh, everything must be for free. No, because you value what you pay for. As far as knowledge is skill leverage. So if you get the right knowledge for your finances, you also need the skill to be able to deploy your capital. You need the skill to be able to deploy your capital. Okay?
That's what you asked me. I don't say.
You good of yourself, yeah?
Huh?
I said you good about
I
yourself.
went to the moment.
So the skill leverage. Another leverage you have is the financial habits leverage. If your financial education does not affect your habits, you will still find yourself in the same place. If your financial education does not change the things you do, you will still find yourself in the same place. I know a lot of people, and that's why people say, oh, okay, accountants, I mean, they don't do well with managing their finances, because it is not about the knowledge. It's about the actions you take. If it does not alter your habits, every day I must take that snack. Every day I must buy this specific, I must buy that drink. Every day I must do this. If I don't do it, I am not okay. But you're not okay 20 years or 10 years ago when you couldn't afford it. Because many times we rely and then begin to give certain names to the things we indulge ourselves with. But I know that these actions are steps that you can take, because people like you, myself inclusive, have been able to take all these actions. So what next should you know? I'm going to rush over this for the 4 steps, or the four steps to your wealth progression. I call it the human progression to wealth, the 4 stages of wealth. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 explains it, says, God blessed them, says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. We're going to talk about 4 stages, and I'm going to rush over it because I've taken this subject several times in our master classes. The first one is the survival stage. Now, as we go through these stages, identify where you are at. The first one is the survival stage. The survival stage is where people live paycheck to paycheck. Based on the data that I came across for this year by PNC Bank, okay, they said that 67% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. of people in America live paycheck to paycheck. That's survival stage. So if in a country as developed and as rich as that, 67% of people are still in the survival stage, then it's a recent research. The ADP research says that 57% of people globally live paycheck to paycheck. So that means that more people have the chances. And remember, we are talking about adults, working adults here. It's not the global population. Okay. What are these people? All right. So in the UK, 49% of UK employees live paycheck to paycheck. In France, 43%. So what about in this part of the world? If we have 67% of people in America living paycheck to paycheck, we should have much more than that in this part of the world. So you're not alone. And I've been there too, paycheck to paycheck. Maybe I learned my lessons earlier. Anyway, so that's the survival stage. One paycheck, I mean, once you earn your pay, it is gone. In fact, before you earn the pay, it has gone. Too many people are struggling to get a pay. So if your income, but there are two types of people here. There are those that are underpaid, in which their income cannot even cover their expenses. We call them people in the poverty line. And those in which their income covers their expenses, but they cannot have an extra, or if they lose the job today, they cannot survive one more day. We call them people in this poverty trap. Both of them are in the survival stage. Yes, they could have a big car, they could be living in nice places and all that, but they lose that job today, it is finished. That's survival stage. So let's go to the next stage. This next stage is called success stage. Okay, success stage. At the financial success stage, you begin to take those 5 actions. Okay, the action of faith, the action of earning, the action of investing, the action of savings, and possibly the action of leverage. So in this stage, you're earning passive income. Maybe at that point, you are compounding. You are not living paycheck to paycheck. It means that whatever you're earning, you still have breathing space. You're not living, your paycheck is not equal to your living expense. But these things are choices that people make. The truth is, no matter how much you earn, you will always have poor people. You would always have people to come and beg for money. No matter how much you earn, you would always have company doing adverts and attracting you so that you can give your resource to them. You can buy items. There are too many things to buy around you. There's a better version of everything around you. I know of someone, she was going through tough times financially. So, but she really wanted more than that. She had an apartment on the mainland. So what she did was she left that apartment on the mainland and moved to the island. And moving to the island, she decided to stay with her friends. This is someone that has a home on the mainland. Because she said, no, I can't continue in this life. I can't continue with this manner of life. And then she left. It was like, is this girl crazy? How can you have an apartment and then you are going to share apartment with friends on the island? In about 2 years, thereabout, it looked like she was an overnight success. If you see her today, you will not know the pain she has gone through, but it was a decision she had to make. At that time, her children were not going to school. She withdrew her children from school. Those were the times in which she was building. So, but many times we don't want to go through pain for us to get the success we love to achieve. So these are people who go through the pain and say, okay, I can't afford this right now. And that's because I'm building something, success stage. The next one is significant stage. At the significant stage, this is a stage in which you depend a lot on leverage. Okay. Your money is helping people make their own finances or get paid. You are leveraging more people. You have multiple streams of income. The visionary stage, so that's the significant stage. You're leveraging people, you're leveraging money, you're able to use debt to create certain resource, to create wealth. And the last one is visionary stage. The visionary stage is a stage at which you and your friends can give to the world, and then it makes sense. All right. So this session is majorly to talk about how to move from survival to success. So let's talk about that. How do you move from survival to success? A few things you need to do. I think there are about 5 also. The first thing is faith. Understand your source. If you want to be financially successful, you need to have a source. And that source cannot be the things you see. That source is a spiritual engagement. The spiritual is part of the ways you build wealth, is a part of the formula or the equation of wealth. The Bible says that it is that you should remember the Lord your God because He is the one that gives you the power to make wealth. You have to have a life before you're thinking about wealth. The person that is dead cannot think about it. Okay, faith. Understand your source. The second one is savings. All right. If you want to move from survival to success, you need to begin to build your emergency savings. 3 months, start with that. 3 months of your living expense. All right. That's the second thing. You must have built this 3 months of your living expense. The third one is earning. Okay. You must have consistent cash flow and more than one source of income, one stream of income. In August, we held this multiple streams of income challenge. It's going to help many people to be able to make certain decisions about their finances. So, and understand this, not all income are meant to be spent. That's one thing people don't know. Some income you made, some income you made are supposed to be invested. That's why I say in every income there is a seed, and that seed is meant to set you financially free. But if you eat your seed, when the harvest time comes, you will have nothing to eat. Earning. Okay? So you must earn consistent cash flow. Don't say, oh, because I've made a little money, I'm out of, no, I'm not working again because I've made 3 million, I resign. You must have consistent cash flow. Then number 4 is to invest in assets. Some people have, a friend tells you that, okay, put your money here, you're going to get 20% every month, 30% every month. You are not investing, okay? What you are doing is you are gambling, all right? And the possibility of making that money, is so low, all right? Then the last one is understand your return number, okay? So let me talk a little about return number. I know you would have heard about compounding. Now, whenever you are in that place in which you want to build wealth, you need to know what percentage you are making on that money annually. Okay. So let's say you put your money in bonds, for instance, and let's say the bond is paying 17%. And with that 17%, you actually know how much you're earning. Because this is what people do. Most times when people invest, they don't even know what the outcome is going to be. Because wealth is a planned journey. Wealth building is a planned journey. You need to plan it. The truth is, if you get an annual rate of 26.3 or 26.5% every year, do you know that you will 10x your money in 10 years? Well, that's a story for another day. So you should know what you are going to make on all your investments. Not that, okay, you just tie this money down. You should know the potential of that money. Of course, over time, it could fluctuate, but you should know the potential of any of your investments. You should know your return number. All right. So, if you want to move from survival to success, you have to have these 5 things. Okay? Understand God as your source, That means if anything happens to your job, you are still going to be safe. Secondly, you should have emergency savings. If anything happens to your source of income or something happens to you, you can still be alive, you can still spend, you can still live, you can still take care of your family. Earning, have a consistent means of cash flow, right? You are building wealth, and like every building, it takes time. What was I think who was I talking to? Was this a class also? Sometimes when we went to Dubai, we saw this building that was not yet built and people were working on it. And it says, so we now ask what's going on there? So they've been building that foundation for over 10 years. Wow. Wow. And you remember the quote I said that somebody, what was his name? Clark said, he said, it took him 30 years for people to know that he's an overnight success. So earning, invest in assets. Assets is going to take time. Okay. Assets is going to take time. Understand your return number. Anytime you are investing, know what you're going to get out from it. Okay. So what should you be doing right now? If you must move from survival to success, what should you do right now? Number one, start from the source. Engage the spiritual. Engage your God. God is interested in every aspect of your life. There is no aspect of your life that does not interest him. Tell him about your worries. Tell him about how you feel. Tell him about what you would have wanted. Search his word and know what his resource for you are. Start from the source. Start from the source. Start by talking to God about it. Number two, have a financial run sheet. Okay, financial run sheet is something that we do for people in our inner circle. So here's how it works. A financial run sheet looks at your current financial status and tells you where you could be in another 15, 20 years or long term. And also that financial run sheet now shows you how the steps you need to take to get there. Okay, it shows you the steps you need to get there. Everybody needs a financial run sheet. You need to know where you are at, where you are headed, and how you need to get there. These are facts that you cannot pick on the street. Okay, because if you know where you are headed in the next 2 years, when people go through our inner circle program and then we show them, we give them that run sheet, it looks like, their spirit comes alive and they're like, okay, now at least I know what I'm going to do in the first 2 years. I know how I'm going to get this result. You should have a financial run sheet. What are you running with? The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain so that him that sees it will run. One of the reasons people don't make that step is because they don't have their own run sheet. They don't know where they are headed. They don't know how to get there. But we do that for people, but that's within our circle. I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this session. Number three, invest in knowledge. Sometimes some people will say that, oh, this knowledge thing you guys are always shouting about. But we have business people who don't even know how to read. But watch them. They learned from someone. They dug into the depths of knowledge that they relied on someone else's knowledge to be able to make it. If you could do better financially, you would have done it. Get that right. It is a lack of knowledge that still places you where you are at. But if you get the right knowledge, the first thing I did, I had been reading, I've been studying, but when I hit a financial brick wall, I wasn't looking for somebody to loan me. I searched for knowledge. Knowledge should come first. Then the last thing you should be doing right now is to P is to pot. Pick one thing. So you could say that let me start from emergency savings, and don't let anybody rattle you and say, this one is going to give you 1 million. You're now going to put your small 300,000 naira there. Pick one thing. Of the 5 actions I have mentioned, most of the things I mentioned here are part of them, but you need to pick one thing. Besides these other 3, pick one thing you're going to start with. As we progress into 2026, because some of us have started planning for 2026, as we progress into that year, pick one thing. And this is it. Most people will be tempted to say, oh, okay, I'm going to start in January. Okay? But your future is determined by what you do today. If you ain't doing nothing about your future right now, you're not going to do anything about it in future. It will be more difficult. So start now while it is difficult. Okay? Start now before the year runs out. All right. So at this point, here's my question for you. What are you going to do today concerning your finances? What are you doing today? I need you to write it down. And possibly if you can drop it in the chat for me, I want to know the things you're going to do. I talked about a lot of things. Okay? Write it down. And at the same time, I'm going to be taking questions. Do you have any questions for this2session? I hope I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope this session really, really helped you. Okay? So I'm going to take 2 people. 2 people, you either ask a question or you tell me what you have learned from this session or what was so profound for you in this session. All right. So I want to hear from you. Okay. All right. Who's talking? What was profound for you? Do you have any questions? I want to hear from you. I've been talking all the while. I've not heard from you. I want to be sure you're there. All right. So who's asking the question? Okay, I have a question here. Who else? Okay, how do I know my return from investing? Good question, Ogunlade Oluwanifemi. All right, so this is it. It depends on the asset. Sorry, okay. Yeah, it depends on the assets you are buying, you are holding. Okay, so most of the assets have a rate of return. For instance, you're buying bond, you're buying mutual funds. These are, and you can easily get that for cash flow assets. All right, bonds, mutual funds, and let's say these days some company do real estate buyback, commercial papers, and all that. You can get what your exact returns on investment will be for those ones. But for capital gains, you will not be able to get the exact returns on investment, but you will have an idea. So, for instance, there is an average that certain ETFs, return annually, even though sometimes you could have fluctuations in value, but there's an average. So for stocks, for instance, every stock market have an average annual return. Okay. For crypto assets, for instance, also, they also have an average. So every market you deal with, every real market you deal with, have an average rate of return. Okay. So whenever you want to invest, and there was a class I took, and that class I listed some questions, the questions you should ask whenever you are investing in any assets. So maybe I could get the video and then share with you. I don't know if it's a paid class. If it's a paid class, of course, you're going to have to pay for it. Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you for that. Ogunlade Oluwanifemi, I hope I have answered your question. Please, I would like to know if you are okay with that. So you could research anything and just look for average rate of returns on average rates of returns on so assets that you're investing in. You would find it online. All right. Then, for instance, for our community, you could always ask the question from the facilitators. They will tell you. All right. Okay, so number 2 question from Victor Oyelo. Is that my response? Oh, people are asking questions. Okay, so I need to rush. Please, how do I create time to acquire knowledge in spite of my busy schedule? And what's the best kind of knowledge? Good question. How do I create time to acquire knowledge? All right. So creating time to acquire knowledge is, number 1, understand the urgency of what you are dealing with. Understand the urgency, right? Someone says, when your why is so strong, okay, when your why is so strong, you'll find every reason to pursue it. I don't like pushing fear, but let me say this. That if you don't do something about your finances, 1, nobody's going to do anything about it. Number 2, if you don't do anything about it, just go and look at our parents who had no knowledge about their finances. It's because maybe you've not seen the importance of it. I'm so sorry, but that's the best thing I can say. But also, this is one of the things that we do for people within our sphere. So we will tell them, okay, I'm going to give you this book to read. Okay. I'm going to give you this book to read. So when we give you that book to read, we now give you a structured time. So this is what you can do. Say, at what time, before you go out in the morning, let's say you normally wake up at 5 a.m. At that 5 a.m., for instance, or maybe you want to shift backward to like 4:30. So you already have a book to read. And there are different ways by which you can read. You can decide to do an ebook. You can decide to do an audiobook. So for some people, they prefer audiobook. I, to a large extent, prefer audiobook. But I make it a point of duty to study 1 hour every day. All right, study 1 hour every day. So in the morning, of course, I work for myself. So in the morning, when I get to my desk, the first thing I'm doing is listening to an audiobook and taking notes. So you could do 30 minutes every day, okay, to learn. All right. Secondly, another thing you can do is to pay well for a service so that you have no reason not to read. My first wealth education was ₦500,000, and that was in 2014, 2015. ₦500,000 was the price. I would always leave from church. My church was around where then. I always leave from church and go to Ikeja every Sunday. Myself, my wife, and we had a little baby then. So we always leave from church to Ikeja every Sunday to go and learn. After paying ₦500,000, what do you want to do? So I had to do that. I pay well for my financial education, so I don't even have a reason not to attend. So I pay for the service. You can pay for service because sometimes when you pay for service, it makes you want to choose that service. Okay. So, those are the things I think you can do. What's the best kind of knowledge? Oh, well, the best kind of knowledge that I have seen that you could get, especially for people who are in their late 30s and early 40s, late 30s and above, I will say that the best kind of knowledge you should get is to get a coach, get someone so that the knowledge is tailored. Most of the knowledge you will see out there will be different. And for instance, when people come into our space, we give them, and even people that attended our coaching session, we are not giving you books because we have listed 5 books. In fact, sometimes it's during the coaching session that I'm looking for the name of one book I have read that applies to you. So maybe you want to get a personal coach, really, once you have crossed that 35. If you're younger, yes, getting a personal coach will be fine, but you still have the time to make mistakes, okay? If you don't have that luxury of time, get a coach and let them guide you and give you the resource you can work with, okay? All right, so I hope I've answered your question. Ahmed Lawal, the session was very profound. My take home at the 5 action stages and emphasis on the action of leverage. Beautiful. Thank you for that thought. Ogunlade Oluwanifemi, is Piggy Bank safe place to invest, sir? I will not want to promote a bad brand, and at the same time, I would not want to talk ill of any brand. All right. So it depends on the kind of investment, but I will not publicly promote a brand. All right. So you could chat me, we could talk about what I think about certain things, but I will not either promote or want to downgrade any brand publicly. All right, Anthony. Anthony, you were the one disturbing our class. You were coming in and out. You like 3 times. I don't even know if I should answer your question, but I will. Please, can we get the link for the recording for those of us that started late? Okay, you were even disturbing us. You need to apologize to all of us. How do our financial history? I didn't get that second part. For the link, okay, we will do something about the link. We'll send the link to everyone. But here's what we do. Most times our links are not always there forever. And the reason is this: whenever the link is there forever, we find out people don't listen. So a link is going to be available for 48 hours. Okay, so if we send it this night, that means it will expire by Monday night. If you send it tomorrow morning, that means it will expire by Tuesday, about 48 minutes, and the link is gone. Okay, will you advise your students to go for mortgage facility or invest funds that will grow gradually to enable outright purchase of personal income or property? I would appreciate your professional recommendation. Edoze is in the inner circle. Will I want to answer this question publicly? Let me answer it somehow, but we can talk about it later. At what point should you go for mortgage facility? That's very dicey. That's very dicey. Should you go for mortgage facility? Yes, if you can, but at what point should you do that? I'm not going to give a straight answer, but when we talk, I'll give you a straight answer. But I'm just going to give some of the things that my friends have done. Some of the things that people within. So I'm not going to make recommendations based on mine. So I'm just going to talk about some of the things. So I've had people that take mortgage, but here's how they run the mortgage. For that mortgage, they will they take the mortgage, and yet they don't live where they are living. So what they do is the tenant is able to pay the mortgage and not them. Because you know that, for instance, if I'm staying in a rented apartment and I've stayed in that rented apartment for the last 5-10 years, I pay less, okay? I pay less than if I have to move into a new apartment. So for instance, let's say in my current apartment, I'm paying 1 million. The same size of that apartment now can be 2.5 million. So what if I now get the mortgage and somebody else is paying it? Okay, so that's what some people have done. For some of the people who have done mortgages, things happen, they lose their source of income. The story is another, that's another kettle of fish. So you should avoid something that's going to put you in a tight corner. So that's what I can say publicly. Will say something. Now, the reason I'm not saying something publicly is I don't want people to take these thoughts as financial advice. Okay, the ones that are for public consumptions, I will say them here. Okay. All right. Awesome session. Emmanuel Wajuku, you're here today. All right. Okay. So, Esther Adioba, what's the smallest amount you can start for emergency savings? Okay. When it comes to savings, I say that I encourage people to save in percentage. Okay, save in percentage. So you could say, okay, I'm earning 100,000 naira. I want to start with 5%. Even though the best would have been to do 25% of your income. if you can do that, of your income or your living expense. But no matter how much, I mean, do percentages. Okay, you don't have the breathing space, you can do 5%, but make sure something is going into your emergency savings. All right. So yeah, something is going into your emergency savings. Ensure that that's going. And why do we encourage 25%? First off, we encourage 25% because if you save 25% of your living expense, okay, if you save 25% of your living expense, by the end of 1 year, you would have 3 months of your living expense in emergency savings. That's why we encourage that. Okay. So, but saving percentages, don't say, okay, I'm going to do 5,000, because if you save in percentages, when you have a salary increase, you would find out that because it's this percentage, you can find it easy to adjust to. And that reminds me, in the month of October, we are having a challenge, a money mastery challenge. So wait till the end. I'm going to talk about that. It's going to help you with your percentage savings. All right. So yeah. Okay. So Anthony has apologized. Thank you, Anthony. Not everybody apologizes. Thank you. Thank you for the apology. All right. Mr. Solomon is here. Wonderful session, sir. Thank you very much. Guys, I hope I've been able to answer your questions. I really, really hope I've been able to answer your questions. If I've not answered your questions, you could reach out to me or disturb my class. Don't disturb my class. All right. Thank you, everyone, for those questions. So let's proceed. All right. So let me talk about the challenge before I talk about the financial run sheet. So the challenge in the month of October, we are having a money mastery challenge. Why did we come up with this? Number one, most of our challenge seem to be way off in cost or in price than for many people. So we just wanted to know people who really wanted to do something about their finances. That's why we set this up. Okay. All right. Last challenge was 30,000 naira per head. Like, that's how much we charge. But we decided to do this for people who want to take action, take immediate action with little or no money with their finances. So in this challenge, we're going to have weekly coaching sessions. So you have weekly classes. Some of them might be recorded, might be live. You're going to have weekly classes. You're also going to have daily tracking. So some people have said that they find it difficult to track their expenses daily. This is going to be your accountability system for that. Weekly investing. In this challenge, you're going to have opportunity to invest every week. Okay. We are going to have an opportunity to invest every week. So it's not a matter of, okay, I don't have, this week I don't have, that week my own salary comes first week, second week. We are going to create that opportunity for you in this challenge. All right. So we're also going to have accountability system. We are also having an exclusive webinar with Stanbic IBTC Asset Management in that month of October, and it's open to people that are in this challenge. Now, for this challenge, if you are having issues with savings or investing, documenting your expenses, this is for you. If you want to, okay, I don't even know where to invest, I don't know where to start, or I'm considering another line for my investing, this challenge is for you. So we have made it so cheap, 5,000 naira per person. And if you're coming in with your spouse, you're paying 6,000 naira. But for people in the inner circle, you're paying half of that price. So if you're coming in with somebody, instead of 6,000, you're paying 3K. If you're coming alone, instead of 5K, you're paying 2,500. So the essence is to be able to help you cultivate certain financial habits. That's what this challenge is. Every day you will receive instructions about what you should do about your finances. Every day you will have, okay, some of those instructions will be, okay, go and invest. Some of those instructions will be, okay, make a call and find out certain things. Some of those instructions will be, okay, this is what you can spend within this period. It's going to help you. Some would say some of these instructions has to do with what percentage of your money, of your income this month are you going to invest? Well, everything is not cast in stone. I mean, everything we're going to talk about is not going to be cast in stone. It's it depends on what works for you, but it's just a system that is keeping you accountable. So if you have not joined the Money Mastery Challenge and you're interested, so that you have a community that is holding you, it's only for 1 month. So we believe that if you're able to do that for 1 month, you can also then do that for yourself. This is like having a community that is holding you responsible for your finances at little or no price. Okay. So it's a 1 month thing. If you're ready for it, you can chat any of the admins. There is also a link. I think if you go to seller.com, let me get the actual link. It's quite easy to remember. The actual link is quite easy to remember. Sorry, trying to get the link. I think seller.com slash money challenge. Yeah. Seller.com/money challenge. You're going to be able to register for the program. So earlier in this conversation, I talked about the financial run sheet. All right. This is a template that will help you plan your finances. So if you want to do this, if you want to have your own financial run sheet, such that this is a document that will keep you on your toes, okay, to help you to be able to plan your finances, then I think you should join the financial planning coaching program. Now, this is a general coaching program, and this general coaching program is taking place in January 2026. Okay, it's a group coaching program. You're going to have 4 weeks of learning from a coach. Okay, get a concentrated month of group coaching. Okay, you are going to be coached along some other people. This 20-year legacy plan is your financial run sheet. We're going to create a financial run sheet, and we are going to have conversations about it in the groups and all that. You also have a 1-year mentoring session where you will be part of a group where you are going to be supported and taught about finances. Also, in designing that financial run sheet, we are going to give you 12 to 24 months execution strategy. So what that means is, number one, not everybody is in the same state. Some people will need 12 months run sheet to be able to achieve, 12 months plan to be able to achieve their first financial milestone. Some people need 18 months, some will need 24 months. At least the first financial milestone, we will talk about that. All right. So you're going to have other bonuses. For instance, if you're in the inner circle, you can have up to 50% discount on some of our programs. Of course, not on our high ticket programs. So it's a limited offer, and then it's 50,000 naira for that. So imagine somebody is teaching you throughout the year, you're having access to discount, and then you're paying only 50,000 naira for that. That is super, super. I have never ever paid this low for any of my the coaching sessions I've attended, and all of them are group coaching sessions. Okay, I've never paid this low. So 50,000 naira. If you want to register for it, you could chat up any of the admin. As time goes, before the end of October, we are going to come up with a modality for people who want to join. You can also decide to pay in installments, all right, before January and be part of this. But we'll design something for you. We'll show you what you can run with and how you can run with it. Okay, you get your financial run sheet. Now, but if you don't want to be part of the general program, you want to be specific, you want to be in the VIP, you want a personalized, fully personalized program. Okay, 6 weeks of coaching. You're going to have 3 coaching sessions with our mentors. Okay, 3 coaching sessions targeted at you, where you are going to have direct conversation. We're going to look into your finances, and then you have those sessions. You're also going to have your 20-year legacy plan is going to be there. Okay, so we'll take you through a process in which you will set a goal for your finances. You set that 20-year legacy plan. and you have a 12 to 24 month execution strategy, okay, for your first milestone. So what we do is when we set that 20-year goal, we'll now set milestones for you that you can achieve in the near term. Okay, it's going to be a lot dependent on you at that point. Okay, so but within that period of coaching, we still talk about it and how to achieve it. Your 1-year mentoring program, okay, you're also going to be in a group where you're going to have access to mentoring and one-on-one support for that 1 year. Okay, exclusive stock community access. Yeah, you will join our stock community without paying. And let me say this, our stock community is 25,000 naira per year. All right. Then normally our coaching, one-on-one coaching sessions is 25,000 naira per coaching session. Okay. Even group coaching sessions are 25K per coaching session. I think we should up the price for the one-on-one. But I mean, those are the things you would get. Bonus course library. Okay. You're going to have access to courses like pay your bills with your return on investment, unlocking your multiple streams of income. In the multiple streams of income program, one of the things we did, or that we taught in that program is how that you can take certain tests, and then when you take those tests, you're going to be able to determine what kind of entrepreneurship method works for you. So you're going to have access to that course. You're also going to have a professional financial audit with a US-based partner. They're going to look into your personal accounts and they are going to conduct an audit. All right. So this is going to cost you 100,000 naira for the limited time offer. You can pay in installments. And this is what it takes to join our inner circle. Many people are already there, taking advantage of this. And of course, we know that this is over cheap, looking at the kind of service you are going to get. If by the end of those conversations, you know what you're going to do, you are not walking in the dark, you know where you're going to start from, this is the service we are going to provide for you. So if you're interested, you could chat any of the admins. They're going to direct you on what to do right now. But before the end of October, you can, further instructions will be availed. All right. So without further ado, if you want to join this, just click that link and then start registering. People are already in. So you also can be part of this. I hope that this session has really helped you. Okay, I have a comment here. Okay, so excellent session. Thank you. All right, so I hope this session has really helped you, and you know the 5 things, the 5 actions you need to take concerning your finances. You also know where you are at in your finances, and you know how to move from survival. I've told you that I've informed you about the pillars you need to set in place, and I hope that these thoughts are executable. All right. So thank you for being part of this session. On behalf of both Money Moves Team Network, we want to say thank you for being part of this and have a lovely, lovely night. Feel free to chat me up. You still have questions, you have concerns, feel free to chat me up. Have a pleasant night. All right, good night.
Good night. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye everyone. Good night.